Welcome, everyone. This is Coffee with the Founder. I'm Beck Bamberger. We do this fun little podcast to better understand why founders do venture-backed startups, because you got to be a little crazy to do them. And then, interestingly enough, do them again and again is what we find so often, because everyone has something I call founderitis, which you got to keep doing and building companies in the world, and hopefully for the good. So that is what we explore on our little podcast. And with us today is the co-founder of Chipp, Scott Meyer, and Meyer. Why do I want to say you're a mayor, Scott? Scott Meyer, like a lemon, right? And I'm happy to have you here, all the way from Nebraska, right? Fargo, Indiana. Oh no, Scott, you're frozen. Oh no, everything's frozen. Nope, Scott, you're frozen. Hey, Scott. Uh-oh. Hey, Scott. Scott, you there? Oh no. Hey, Scott. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Scott, I lost you there.
Hey.
Totally.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't know. It says my network's 9 out of 10 is what it tells me on Restream, but
Okay.
we can try and see what happens.
Let's try it again. Let me just check the time for when. Okay. Let's rock and roll again. See what we get. Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is Coffee with the Founder. I'm Beck Bamberger, and we do this show to illuminate why founders do venture-backed startups and why they have something, as I like to say, founderitis, which keeps them coming back to do more startups because they cannot help themselves. Takes one to know one, by the way. Takes a fellow crazy person to know one. And with us today is the co-founder of Chipp. It's in the AI space. We're going to talk all about it. Scott Meyer, thank you for being here.
I'm so happy to be here, and it's a true story. I think I'm, on my second successful startup and maybe my 8th total, something like that.
There you go. That those are like the good odds. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Good percentage.
Sounds about right. Well, thank you for being here. You're coming in from North Dakota, or you're
coming in hot from Fargo, just like the movie. Getting ready to build. Nothing else to do except build. So it's a great place to have a startup.
I love that. By the way, that is on your LinkedIn on the top is like build, turn prompt to product.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Such. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's Chipp all about? Because I think it's in the education space, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, Chipp is all about making it easy for anyone to build an AI agent based on their own knowledge. And it works really well for the people I live by. So if you have a small business, you're trying to get leads. If you are a teacher and trying to create a tutor for your students, if you are an agency trying to build AI products to sell to your clients, Chipp is great at that. Think about it as, a ChatGPT you own. You change the brand, you own the conversation, you can add privacy, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, is it a little Canva for business owners with AI? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Canva
I'm not a designer,
AI,
but yeah.
Squarespace for AI. Yeah, we've heard those great descriptions.
Got you. And why? Why are we doing this? I mean, yes, there's the need and such, but why?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, it's that old quote, when you look backwards, the dots all connect. And I think the through line in my life is making tech accessible. I did that with my first company in 2009. And at that point, it was teaching old ladies in South Dakota how to get set up on Facebook, right? And I ran the entrepreneurship center at the university for a while. And all these things I've done has always been like, I see what's happening on the edge and I can bring it back to my community and help people actually get value from it.
Yeah. And you were a city council member, is that right?
I mean, exactly. Yeah. Life on the edge, less technical.
less technical, but community oriented for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
love getting involved. I think, especially in smaller communities, you have to, right? If it's not you, then who, right? And so that's something that I've always been passionate about.
So let's talk about that for a second. Eh, North Dakota, it's not the
Yeah.
capital of startups as we know.
Yeah.
Why are we there, and what's the benefit?
Yeah. I mean, originally I came here, I'm from 3 hours away in South Dakota originally, but
Mm-hmm.
came here because it was actually a great startup scene. It's
Mm,
kind of, I think hubs regionally are always great places to be,
yeah,
because, you have the
when you're
airport,
around. Yeah,
everyone comes there, everything happens there.
yes.
But North Dakota has a really unique unfair advantage, which we actually are an oil state, second
Yeah,
largest oil producer in the country after Texas. And we
I
take a
didn't know
percentage
that.
of all that money and we put it into basically a sovereign wealth fund. We have what's called the legacy fund, just like Norway has or Saudi
What?
Arabia has. And a percentage of that money goes to startups. And so we have this unfair advantage. There's only 700,000 of us. And you can imagine the number of people actually willing to start venture backed
God,
companies is
this is
tiny.
this is why I love
It's
this show, because every time I'm learning some little inkling, a dollop of information, I'm like,
yeah.
what the F?
And if you
North
want to take it
Dakota has this
further,
idea?
North Dakota is the only state in the country that has a state bank. And so the state actually has its own bank. And they, one of the ways we
What
got
the fuck?
started, we got a 0% interest loan to help start our company from the state. And it's an unfair advantage because they want to, obviously they want to diversify the economy. It's mostly
Mhm.
oil and crops. And so it's like they want a third
It is
option.
just
That's
like
not
Saudi
just,
Arabia.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So,
Holy
so it's a great place
cow.
to be. And
Wow. Wow.
great in the
Okay.
summer.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Maybe not in the winter so much. So
Yeah.
that's okay. There are pluses and minuses to all things. But wow, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it's wild. It's fun. So I love the
All
political side
right.
of startups. I think there's so much to learn about someone's where they're from and how that influences how they think. And I
Yes.
think for me, it's influenced accessibility as a key
Yes. Yes.
driver, and then
Okay.
also just thinking about how do you get people excited? Because like in Fargo, we have to create density. It's like we don't
Yes.
just have it every day,
No, no,
and
no.
so it's
Yeah.
like, hey, next month on this day, we're going to host 5 different events all
Yeah.
over town and get all these people into Fargo. They'll
Yeah.
think it's really cool because there's so much happening. And then the rest of the month, it's probably a little quieter, right?
Little quiet, little quiet. Oh, fascinating though to think. So then what is the thread line for you for hiring? Or are you
Mm.
all remote, or how do you look at that?
Yeah, I've always been remote first,
Yeah.
partly out of necessity.
Yeah.
And I love to hire locally if I can. But what I find more
Mhm.
interesting is spending time with other founders locally. So I get that energy and like support system. And I can find talent, a lot of places. So my co-founder worked with me at a previous company. So we know each other
Mhm.
well. He's in South Carolina. We have an employee in Indianapolis. I think the through
Mhm.
line is often non-hub employees. So they're remote, but they're often not in San Francisco or New York. They're often in mid, metro kind of towns.
Mhm. Okay, so remote, and you will do with that, but if in your dream world, you'd have more localized people.
Yeah, I'd love to. I
But
mean, I
yeah,
love
okay.
teaching. I love
Yeah,
training. But also I want to move
it is
really
what it
quick.
is.
Yeah. And
Yes,
I got to
hey,
use what I have. Yeah.
hey, then there you go. Okay. Okay. So back to being the Canva of agents here, so that
Yeah.
anyone can build up their own agents and so
Yeah.
forth. Mm, it seems like, oh, that sounds so easy. What is the biggest hurdle to that?
Yeah.
And
The
is it
biggest
actually, yeah,
hurdle is not technical.
yeah.
It's change management.
I
So
was going to say for the user to actually
yeah,
do it.
if you build it, that's great and it's exciting. But how do you build it into your workflow? Or
Mm,
oftentimes people will build it and give it to their colleagues or their employees.
mm,
One way we try to solve that is Chipp can be deployed in the places you already work. So in Slack, via
yeah.
email, via text message, via phone call. So we want to go where people already
Yeah,
go so you
already
don't have to
function. Yeah.
learn a new technology.
Yes, yes, yeah. No, makes total sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Then for you, I know you came from like city council, you had a company you did sell. Okay, you came back to this. What's different this time around in doing
Mhm.
a venture backed startup?
Yeah. So first time it was a bootstrap company.
Yeah.
And this time it is, I mean, I can't even say the number 100 times faster. Right. So it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the venture scale just I want to succeed. I'm competitive. And like, as soon as I take someone's money, I need to make it work.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And to do that, especially in the world of AI, you just have to be moving so, so fast. And so I find the
Mm,
pace is very different, venture backed from
mhm,
bootstrap.
mhm.
I started with with checks from friends and family, like
Yeah.
$5,000,
Yeah.
$10,000 checks. And it's
Yeah.
like, when you take money from your father-in-law, like a little more pressure,
Yeah.
So
Just
it's
a little bit.
making it work, making it work.
Yep. Yep. And since this has now been your later down in the road of doing startups, whether that be totally bootstrapped or now taking money from your father-in-law, what is now clear to you in general or related to startups?
You can go faster and harder than you think.
Hmm.
And I think that for some people, maybe myself, like taking money from a VC really just forces you to make the hard decisions that when you're bootstrapped, you can kind of avoid. Like
Yeah.
as a bootstrap company, I could be on city council and
Yeah.
work with clients and try this other side gig and be an adjunct professor. And now I feel like I can't do anything except
No, you
build
got to be
this
fully
thing.
focused on this. Yep.
And I think it's a different muscle. It's not for everybody, but it's the way I like to go, is like hard sprints. And
Hmm.
the vision is that you get across the finish line and take a breath and then figure out where to sprint to next.
As many founders do. Yes, you think of it as
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm in this 5 years of hell, let's
Yep.
say, of this sprint. That's
Yep.
5 years after you've probably done another 5 years to figure out
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
it actually works. Now it's in like, okay, exit mode and so forth. How does this impact, or how has it impacted just fundraising for you, just being in North Dakota, if anything? Because there's obviously a big bias back
Yeah. I
towards
think.
SF and New York and all these major hubs.
Yeah.
Have you seen
I think
that?
it's been an advantage. Like,
Oh,
I think two things is like, first, it gave us a more realistic or approachable valuation. So I think when
yes, we
people
love a
saw
good
us, like
valuation. Yeah.
we have investors from New York and San Francisco as well. When they saw what
And
we're
they're like,
valued
huh,
at for
cheap.
what we're doing, they're like, yeah, let's get in.
Yeah.
It also, we have a lot of cheerleaders. Like there's not a lot of venture-backed startups, and
Yeah.
so those that are
Yeah.
here really get support from investors as well as people who just want you to succeed. In a way, I feel like we help educate the market of what's possible. So like
Yeah.
some investors maybe aren't used to our pace, our valuation, the AI space, whatever, and like even if they don't invest, they can kind of see what's coming, and I think it makes the region stronger for future companies as
Hmm.
well. So yeah, I think it's not everyone could do it, but it's also where we are, right? So you make the best of your environment, and some funds only want to invest in certain regions. So like our
That's right.
pre-seed investors are out of Chicago. They focus on the Midwest,
Yeah,
M25.
they love them. Yep. M25, I love them.
Yeah, they're
Shout out to
great.
M25. Yeah. Yes. And hey, if you're getting a loan from the government for 0% and you
Yeah,
got a valuation that's actually more than reasonable, these are the advantages. Yes.
right. Yeah,
And you have
exactly.
an office that's an SF where people are fighting the doors down to like get the rent of the lease or whatever. It's like a battleground now. Yeah, this is
And I
good.
think the key is like, I find this living in small towns anyway, but you can go to those places, right? Like,
Yes, you can go. You could travel, Scott.
and sometimes I think people don't even know you're not there. You show up once every 2 months and you're like, hey, you want to get coffee? And they're like, yeah. And like,
Yeah.
they don't, you don't live there, because how often do you actually see people in San Diego? Is it more than once a month? Is it,
Oh,
so it's like,
no, but San Diego's its own
yeah,
little pocket of a lot of what I say, like, stealth wealth. People stay in their little area. They're in
yeah,
Encinitas,
exactly.
they're in Del Mar. You don't see them, no. Like
Yeah. So you come in for
there's a
events,
whole,
you come in and meet people, make the most of it, and then you
yeah,
get out. I
yeah.
think it works well.
What I really like though too is, and this is a shout out for just like San Diego and just being in California, I'd say overall is like it's an hour flight.
Yeah.
So I do the day trip all the dang time. Now
Yeah.
it's a long day. But
Yeah.
guess what? You're out and back same day. You
Yeah.
just bring the backpack. There's no
Yeah.
luggage. There's something quite freeing, by the way, and odd, I find, going on a plane, and it's just like you're like
Oh, I love it.
you're day back because you're like, what? I'm
Did
not
I
staying
forget
over.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, I
weird.
mean,
It's
for
a
me,
weird.
I have kids, and so it's
Yeah.
like when I'm just responsible for myself,
Oh,
it's
you're
a
just
holiday.
probably like
It's just like
you can't
so
believe
light.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how many kids do you have?
I have 4. Yeah.
Oh my Scott,
Yeah.
how are you doing this?
Just
Okay, serious
just go
question. How
through
are
it.
you doing this?
Great teamwork with my wife,
Yeah,
and I find the windows at work. It's non-traditional, right? So I get a
yeah.
lot of work done between 5:30 and 7,
Hmm.
and 7 to 9. And also, you've never seen efficiency until you've been a parent. I always say it's like
Listen, this is why
you
hire
learn,
moms.
you
Hire
learn.
moms. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So how is it sharpen the saw for you efficiency wise? Was it a kid
Mm.
2, or were you like, no, I took 4 to get me to this level?
No, two was off
Two
the
is,
cliff because one you could still do
you
stuff
can
while
get
they
away. Yeah,
napped,
yeah, yeah.
but once there was two, there was no like break, and so
No.
then it was like, all right, I got 45 minutes to do this blog
Got it.
post or this like proposal. Like I gotta go, so I gotta get it done.
Wow.
And I mean now
Wow.
with AI and the tools, like it's even better. Like I am part-time Uber driver for my kids, right? And
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
so now I have the voice agents. I'm telling them things to do, and they're creating proposals for me. I come back and they're ready, and I review them. So yeah, just leaning into the tech to make it work.
Would you recommend being a parent then as a startup
Oh my
founder?
gosh, yeah. I mean, what are you doing it for? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I find so much meaning from my work. And
Yeah.
taking money from father-in-law is one thing, kind of a joke, but when you have 4 kids and you're like, I want to give them success. Like I want to have a great
Yes.
life, and this is the way I'm going to get there. It's not going to be climbing up the ladder. It's going to be jumping off and then soaring up. So
Mm, mm. One of the questions I like to ask on here, how do you think of success then? And is it this for your kids
hmm.
to, well, I don't want to fill it in. How do you think of success? I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's the infinite game. It's like continuing to
Yeah.
learn and solve problems and doing that with people I love being with, my kids included. It's a
Hmm.
great way for me to spend my time. I can't imagine retiring, right? I just imagine finding new problems and picking the speed at which to solve them
This
with.
is founderitis.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. In fact, I think that's the one of the greatest joys to continue on is
Yeah.
having the brain capacity, the physical capacity to just go after and still solve and do the
Mhm.
problems you want to go and solve with, again, people you love. So this has been a continuous theme that I'd love to explore for a second, Scott, is that notion of working with people you've already worked with in your previous startups or whatnot. Are you doing that right now with people you've worked with? And how long have those relationships been?
Yeah, my co-founder and I knew each other for about a year before
Okay.
we founded this company.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of history. I'd say it's much more the cool thing about getting old is like your friends also get old and
I
they
know. Isn't it
also
great?
achieve things, you know what I
I
mean? So it's like
know.
that person you went to high school with who is like seemed like a loser now is the CEO of some company and you're like,
I
"Hey, do you
know.
want to work together?" And they're like,
Scott,
"Sure."
this is what I love because I'm at that point too. And you're like, oh, my friend runs that whole entire company, or my friend runs the whole division, or that this friend runs this naval boat, the whole damn boat. Like, it's so fun. It's really fun.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
fun.
even a more of
So,
a joy of than working with people you've known for so long. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
you're in charge of that now too? Awesome.
Yeah. And I think
I'm in
that's
charge of this.
speaking of
Yeah.
Fargo and long game, I think that's part of
Yeah.
one advantage of small towns. You kind of already are in that mindset. You have to be,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
these people are going to be around you the rest of your life. So it's easier to be nice to them. I think sometimes,
Mm,
San Francisco or other areas can be more transactional. You think you're
they're
coming in and
transactional.
building and leaving. But
Yeah.
I think people who are building here, like they want to partner with other people building here because they
Yeah.
know you're going to be there in
Yeah.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is there that dialogue common or mention of just long-term components of it? Because you're right, a lot of other cities perhaps are, I'll be there for 5 years and I'm going to move to whatever. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
there. Now there is something to be said about like long-term New Yorkers who are, die. They
Right.
will not. Now they're never going to leave New York. There's a little bit of that, but specifically in, let's say, where you are in Fargo,
Right.
is there discussion of like, yeah, we're going to have 3 generations here or 4 generations, or
Yeah.
I'm fifth generation or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely the majority. People come in
Wow.
and go, obviously, but I think a lot of people come, leave, and come back, right?
Yeah.
And so that's great. They bring expertise. Same thing I did. I lived in Europe for 5 years, lived in Minneapolis. Like tried different things, and you come back and you appreciate what you have. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think people trust that and like that. I think it's you need a blend of new blood as well as old
Yes.
blood, but I think it's a good way to start. Like my grandpa used to say, if you can't sell to your friends and family, who can you sell to? Right. So if start with those people first. And if you can't get them to buy
What a
in, you
good
probably don't need to
test.
go sell elsewhere.
What a good test. Exactly. What other pearls of wisdom would you say are the North Dakotian ones we should know of to wrap us up for
Oh
today?
man.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I
Yeah.
would say yeah, I love this idea of density and this idea of
Mm.
like every town's trying to become the Silicon whatever of whatever.
Yeah, I know.
And
Valley, canyon, slope, whatever the hell.
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's
Cliff. I don't know.
yeah, I think that both geographically and also in the age of AI, you actually need to focus on what you're great at. And I
Yeah,
always try to tell my kids this too. It's like your teachers want you to get, C's and B's in everything. Really what we need to be thinking about is like, how do I go from an A to an A plus in one
yeah, and then let
thing,
me
two
just do A
things,
plus all the
and
time. Yeah,
lean into that. And like, Fargo is not going to have the same advantages as Boulder or San Francisco, but we're close to lakes, it's cheap to live, good family, and it's like just lean into that. And if you're a startup here, like be good doing the jump on a plane, be good having cheaper, labor and different quality of life. And I think we can build things for local businesses because we understand the problems, and I think people in larger cities might not understand them as well. So leaning into those advantages is helpful.
mm. Mm. Scott, as I'd like to say, go with your gifts. Go with your
I
gifts.
love
That's
that.
what I tell my team. Go with your gifts because we are not gifted in all things.
Right.
So once you know a gift and you have it and you go, aha, I have an unfair disadvantage here compared to others,
Yeah.
go with it. Also, it's more in your flow state and it's more in where you'll probably have happiness too, frankly.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Mm.
Lean in. So
Lean
I love it.
in. Well, Scott, Meyer, I want to call you Mayor. Maybe it's the city council thing, Scott. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I'm
There you
thinking
go.
of.
Mayor, me and John Mayer. Yeah.
Meyer. Yeah. Scott Meyer, co-founder of Chipp. Thank you for being on today.
Oh, so great, Beck.
And today I learned North Dakota, cranking on that oil.
Next
Sovereign
place
wealth
to
fund.
come. Yep.
Next place to come,
San Diego
Scott.
to Fargo direct. I love it.
Boom. You know what? I wonder if there's probably not direct flights.
No,
It's San Diego. Damn. Okay. Something else to investigate. But anyway, thank you for being on today.
thank you.